friends. So, I want to talk to you all today about codes. Big buzzword. A lot of people make fun of it. I used to cringe at it a lot, not that long ago. Just because it feels a little overused. And I have this part of me that's kind of like a rebel against it. And because a lot about people speak about it in terms that are really vague and actually really inaccurate to what I believe it is, you know? So, where are the codes? These codes that you carry that you're meant to transmit to the collective. They're basically designed for certain frequency transmissions, and they are in your DNA. That is where the codes are. Okay. So that's the first thing to understand about codes. It's not that people who haven't had direct experience with DNA activation, like from a practitioner, don't have access to any of their codes. That would just be silly and ridiculous. But the codes that they do already carry, that you might feel, through a transmission that someone is offering, whether that's through art, through speaking, through singing, through sharing in whatever medium comes through for the person, those codes are in their DNA. It's in their genetic makeup. That's where it's coming from. I can't stress this enough, and it's not something that people understand or talk about. Now, the thing I want to say here that might actually ruffle some feathers, but I think it's really important to say, is that, first of all, you cannot just access any code that you want to and take it on as yours. That's actually not the way that it works in this realm. In this realm, you were designed specifically to bring through exactly what is yours to bring through. So you must have like a connection to what it is that that actually is. And it's in your body. It's in your body. And so I want to talk about codes in relationship to embodiment. It's my belief and my opinion that you cannot, first of all, you can't steal other people's codes. It just doesn't work. So if you've tried like kind of mimicking or copying people, listening to information, filtering it through your mind and regurgitating it, I mean, that's cool. There's a place for that, right? But if you're looking to like impact people with this, it's not going to hit because it's not in your body, because you weren't coded for it. Somebody else was, you know? So when you're talking about a business, because I do like to talk about that a lot of the time, because it's an interest of mine, and I know a lot of you have spiritual businesses. When you're talking about a business, bringing through frequencies and information that aren't actually yours, it will give you really crappy results. Like people won't generally receive it because it's not an authentic transmission. It's not embodied. And there's something really beautiful that I've seen in the last, I don't know, probably 5 years that I've been kind of looking for it and awakening to it, is there's so many people teaching about embodiment and doing embodiment work and relating that to all of these other areas, business, relationships. And I heard someone say, a while ago that, you can throw a rock and you hit a feminine embodiment coach, like the market is so oversaturated. And I said, good, in my head. It wasn't a direct conversation with someone. I said, good, because it's needed. It's extraordinarily needed. And people are going to resonate with different people who are doing that kind of work. But I'm going to tell you that, like in my modality training program, um, embodiment, physical embodiment, is the first thing that we go into because it is so important. You can't access any of this outside of yourself and outside of, you know, your physical body. And you might be able to access pieces of it, but you won't be able to bring it through in a way that is grounded and clean and in a way that really hits, right? So that's awesome. But there is this other piece that is like soul embodiment. And this is really the core of my work. This is embodiment of your codes through the process of unlocking them and through the process of releasing what is preventing the fuller activation of them. Gosh, there's so much I want to say about this that I feel like might actually trigger some people, but it's like people have this idea that you can just access anything that you want to access. And sometimes they come to me and they want to access a really specific ability. And sometimes it's not that they're not coded for it. Sometimes it is like it's not a part of their mission. It's totally irrelevant for them, right? Sometimes they are, but they haven't passed through certain gates, certain initiations that are required in order for them to be able to hold the gifts, in order for them to be able to utilize them with integrity, right? So people like to talk about limitlessness and limitless potential. And I like to talk about that sometimes too, because I believe that we are incredibly limited in our thinking around what is possible for us, around what we can create, around who we actually are. And so it's beautiful to open your mind and, just open your curiosity, open your field to possibilities. But there are limits. And that's for a good reason. People have very specific roles they're meant to play and very specific things they're meant to do at very specific times. And your ego doesn't get to bypass those things and say, well, I'm ready now, or I want what this person is doing. It just doesn't actually work that way, right? It happens in levels and layers, the activation process and the embodiment process of these gifts. And it happens in according not to the will of your ego. It happens according to the will of your soul and of your higher self. That's what is always guiding the process, and that's what is always guiding my work. Um, there on many planes, like, yes, we are all one at the highest level, but we're not operating there. And on many planes in between the third dimensional level and that level, like, there is hierarchy. Beings have roles. We have so much that is kind of twisted up with that, where we don't believe that that should be the case. And it's really because of just distortions that we carry around power and authority and abuse. And believe me, I freaking get it. You know, like if you know my story, you know that I get that. Or you could at least imagine how I would, right? My work is really about waking you up to that connection with your multidimensional soul and your essence. Mentorship with me specifically is about a lot of the times moving through the layers that are preventing deeper access, the things that you've identified with, that you have believed are you, that are just not. They're programs that you're running. They're interferences that you've got going on. They're beliefs that you hold from trauma you've been through, whether in this lifetime or in others, right? So it's peeling those things off and activating and really bringing forward and connecting you to who you are multidimensionally. Because when you connect with that, this might actually make me cry because it's like so beautiful. You recognize that you actually don't need to be anybody else. You don't even want to be. You recognize that who you are is truly enough, and it deserves to be fully expressed. And you get to do whatever it is that you're doing in the world. Like wherever it is that you're leading, you get to show up as the leader that you are, with the codes that you have that are yours to distribute, knowing that it is like more than enough. Like that connection, that's what it's about. And that self-doubt, all of that fear, all of that, I'm not as good as this person. I mean, a lot of the layers I work with are like, if I express that, like I'm going to get hurt, I'm going to get punished, I'm going to be betrayed, I'm going to be backstabbed, I'm going to be persecuted. All of those things, right? When you experience liberation from those things, you're just like free to do what you came here to do. And it's really clear. And you honor that and you protect that. Right? And this has huge implications in every area of life, in the way that you show up inside of relationships. Because the truth is, too, it's like your codes, you're not just impacting people through like your work with them directly, or like having a spiritual business. That might be the case for you, but you're impacting everyone and everything around you all the time by living that. When you meet someone who's really embodied like that in their unique coding, it's just like, oh shit. You know? And it connects you with what's possible for you, but not by becoming them. That's where people get it twisted. Not by becoming them, by becoming more and more and more and more you. Right? Leadership, when it comes from that place, because you're able to make choices that are in alignment with what you know is in your highest good and everyone's highest good, because that's always the same. When you have that ability to make those choices and you love yourself that much because you can feel who it is that you are, it doesn't feel like a burden because you're taking on only what is yours to take on. You are not taking responsibility for anything or anyone outside of that, but you are taking responsibility for what you know is yours to take responsibility for. now. I'm transitioning my mentorship to really focus more heavily than I have in the past on people who know that they are leaders and that they're meant to lead. Everyone is a leader in their own life, like, right? But people who know that they are meant to lead in a more public way. And there's all kinds of things, right? There's the shrinking and the hiding. There's the fear of our own power, the fear of persecution, all of that shit that we carry, the doubt, the self-doubt, the self-loathing. I'm familiar with all of that, the codependent patterns with mentors, with clients, with your online audience, right? These things keep us from sharing our authentic leadership frequency with the world and taking responsibility for the missions we're meant to lead, to spearhead. And a lot of you have big fucking missions. And a lot of you know that you are meant to lead. But you get thrown off. And the reason why I can speak to this is because I've experienced it a lot. And there's a lot of different tools that I use, not just, rapid shift integration, which is my method for multidimensional healing and DNA activation. Because it's taken a lot for me to even get to the place where my gifts have unlocked to the level that they are and where I can hold it. It's taken me a lot for me to step into a place where leadership for me feels like a joy and not like a burden. And it's because I've walked through that I do know certain things about the path. And so I utilize a lot of tools, but the DNA activation is really, really key because, again, who it is that you are and what you came here to do, and every fucking thing that you need in order to do it is all in the DNA. Okay. So if you're interested in experiencing this for yourself, if you feel a pull towards this, if this resonated for you in any way, kind of open to everyone. I have my single sessions, rapid shift integration sessions, for deep clearing and DNA activation. And if you're interested in really embodying, more of what I'm talking about and stepping into your mission and being the leader that you came here to be, having your medicine flow through you in the way that it's meant to, and feeling really fucking solid in that, you might be a really great fit for mentorship with me. I'm currently only working with women in my mentorship, and women who are wanting to align more with that leadership frequency and really embody their unique codes, connect very deeply with themselves, and fucking do the thing. So if that's you, go ahead and reach out. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you're taking really great care. Bye.